Procrastination is more dangerous than you think. Beyond lost time or opportunities, it is a silent killer of your physical and mental health and could lead to things like anxiety, guilt, regret, depression, stress, and even some heart diseases. I know this firsthand because I was a chronic procrastinator and I tried severally to break free but failed. Desperate for change, I devoured 12 books on the subject in a period of 3 months and gathered some insight that helped me in my journey against procrastination. In this video, I'm going to share with you a 3-step process that will help you to make advance in your journey against procrastination. When people are trying to break off procrastination, they usually overlook the first step and the third step and focus largely on the second step, which they even do wrongly. This may just be your chance to break free of procrastination forever. So let's dive in. In the course of my studies on the subject, I received some insight from Dr. Maxwell Morse, the author of Psycho-Cybernetics, who said, "Change your self-image and you change your personality and behavior." Think about these words: self-image, behavior. Self-image is the way you see yourself, and procrastination is a form of behavior. If you change your self-image, you change your behavior. The message that Morse was passing was very clear. For you to tackle procrastination, you first need to tackle how you see yourself. I realized that many of the times I failed in the past, I did not really focus on my self-image. So this time, I needed to stop viewing myself as a procrastinator and started looking for another tag with which I could call myself. In the process of doing this, I came across the word action-oriented, and I decided to start picturing myself as an action-oriented person. This change in my self-image helped me to feel empowered and mentally prepared for the task of defeating procrastination. If you really want to beat procrastination, I recommend that you try to get a new identity on the subject of procrastination and productivity. No matter the identity you adopt, if you don't take necessary action, you're not going to win against procrastination. A lot of people take action wrongly and get frustrated. The first major mistake they make when they decide to take action is that they pick one book or pick one YouTube video and decide to take all the suggestions from there. A better way to deal with procrastination, or any habit for that matter, is to read several books on the issue and get all the suggestions from these books. Think through them and select a few of them and apply them, because that was exactly what I did that helped to change the situation. Another mistake that people make when they want to beat procrastination is that they get frustrated and revert back to procrastination when their method do not work. After suffering more losses usually and losing more from procrastination, they pick another book or video, read again, and return to the circle of failure. When you do this, you are just fighting endless battles against procrastination that would never lead to victory. In an earlier video I did on the steps to achieving goals, I talked about pivoting, and that is exactly what you need to do here. You need to go back to that place where you wrote your strategies, remove those strategies that were not working for you and replace them with new strategies. And you keep doing this until you get the strategies that suits you. I swapped strategies about 6 to 7 times if I can remember, and actually settle on 3 currently. The first strategy that I will share with you today, which I apply personally, is something I learned from the book Mind Gym. The idea is this: if the consequence of procrastination is very far, we tend to procrastinate. That is why usually you procrastinate from reading for exams when the exam is a month or 2 months off. But if the consequence is close and big, we tend to procrastinate less. That is why you don't procrastinate on reading a day to an exam. So what you need to do here is to bring a consequence that is immediate and big. For example, you can do this by giving a check to a friend, a blank check for that matter, to a friend, and telling your friend that anytime I don't read, you withdraw some money from my account. You find yourself reading. The second strategy I use currently is something called habit stacking, which I learned from James Clear's book. I talked about this in an earlier video I made about motivation. I think you should see that video after this one. In this strategy, when you have a couple of things to do, you write those that you love to do at the end of that list, and write those that you don't like doing, which you are likely to procrastinate on, at the beginning of that list. Now, the joy of doing those things you love later keeps you motivated to do the things that you would have procrastinated on first. The third strategy that I use currently is a very simple strategy, very interesting strategy. Now, this strategy is called Just Take the Next Step, and I learned this from Tim Pitchell's book. The idea behind this is this: you do things in many steps across stages, and there are many steps in doing anything, but there are usually 3 stages: the starting phase, the continuation stage, and the finishing stage. Procrastination is something that hits on the starting phase. It stops you from starting that task. Once you get through the starting phase of any task, you have beaten procrastination for that task. So the idea is to focus on moving through the steps one by one. For instance, you are procrastinating on taking a shower. The first step is stand up, right? Just stand up. The second step is walk to the bathroom. Step 3, take off your clothes. Step 4, you put on the shower and you have started bathing. Once you have crossed this phase, you cannot go back. You cannot procrastinate on bathing anymore. So procrastination phases away as you take those consecutive steps until you cannot procrastinate anymore. These are the 3 strategies I currently apply. For you to take action, you need, in summary again, to do a holistic research, get out the suggestions from each of the materials you're researching with, apply a few, and when the ones you're applying don't work, change them until you get a strategy that works for you. It doesn't end there. You need to cement all of this with something else, which is often neglected, but happens to be one thing that helps you to keep the battle against procrastination alive until you conquer. If you don't do this, the chances are high that you revert to your old ways of procrastination. And this third stage is to constantly remind yourself of your new identity and your new decisions on procrastination. Find a way to constantly remind yourself of the new identity you have adopted. Personally, I did this by printing the action-oriented tag and reviewing it every morning along with my morning prayers. I also read a wonderful essay I came across in the website strangersloop.io, and the essay is titled "The Things That Are Not Doing the Thing." A key reason for procrastination is loss of motivation, and staying motivated is actually very necessary in keeping yourself from procrastination. I did a video earlier on this subject, and I think you should see it after this video.